going to? Florida and Tennessee?
Yeah, UT and Florida, I guess, is the other one I got, right? Yeah, Florida and Tennessee. Interesting game here. So we all know how the Gators opened up against Utah. Tough win, gutty last play win. Then they catapulted this team from not even being on the radar to the top 25 to like number 12, which I thought was crazy, but they did it. And Tennessee, they had high expectations coming in, with Hooker and Josh Heupel's second year, and of course Florida's first year with Napier, which I keep a close ear to the Gators, even though they're not one of my favorite teams because they're like 30 minutes up the street from where I live. So I hear a lot of inside stuff going on with the Gators. Does it equate to cashing tickets all the time? No, but it's just good to know, what's going on over there. But I know, like when we had them against Utah, then we knew that coming off that next week would be a little tough spot for them to match up with Kentucky, which they wound up losing that game outright. Where Anthony Richardson threw 2 picks in that game, one for a pick 6, so that wound up costing them. So Florida's always a touchdown away from a cover or a turnover away from cover or losing the game, it seems like. And I think we get that same scenario here. Even though they went down, see UCF, they played USF last week down in Tampa, and they struggled. They barely came away with the win. They won by 3 points there. So I think they were already looking ahead to Tennessee in that spot. So that was one we missed last week. We should have been all over that one. But now they got to go up to Neyland Stadium where they're going to have 108,000 screaming Tennessee or volunteer fans playing, screaming. And the Gators, these games used to be notoriously 3-point games for years and years and years. But, a lot of those players and coaches are long gone. But just the way the game sets up here, with Heupel running about 80 plays a game, Florida's going to go out and try to grind this team down with the run. Now, Florida always has solid offense and defensive lines. You can always bank on that with the Gators. Sometimes the skill position players, through progression, they weed in and out of them, and they had the 2 quarterbacks last year. But they did go with AR. They had a lot of hype behind this kid. I think the thing with him is, they're going to try to establish a run, which what Florida always does, but and then Tennessee's going to counter with the pass. Hooker's going to try to, move the ball with his legs, throw the ball downfield. Tennessee, if you look at the games they played, they've been in some high-scoring affairs. So the only way to really beat Tennessee is to keep them off the field. And I think Florida might have a shot to do that, to cover the number. I think the number's a little bit high. I want to say it's 11.5, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not looking at the spread right here, but let me see. I know you usually have it on the screen, but I'm going to say it's 11.5.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
Let me bring it up. It went away.
Bring that up for me so I can look at something.
There you go, 10.5.
10.5. Okay. So I think my personal opinion on this spot here is I think the game is going to be a 1-score game. I think it's a little bit of an overlay from being 2 scores. I think Florida is going to limit. I think they'll be able to control the line of scrimmage on the offensive side and kind of limit Tennessee's plays maybe to like 60s, high 60s, which, Tennessee's always going to hit that home run. They're going to try to, but Florida, I think they can hang with them here. I like Florida in the dog row. I don't like them as a favorite. And I think the look here is, Florida control the clock. Tennessee is going to get their points, obviously. Florida will get some of theirs, but I don't think Tennessee wins by margin here. I think we see the game maybe if Tennessee wins, they're going to win bigger than 10.5. If they win, it's going to be like a 70-point game. But if the game stays under 60 points, Florida's going to cover the number. I'll just put it that way. So the only way the game gets away from Florida if Richardson has a pick 6 or Florida has two turnovers, 2 to 3 turnovers, and Tennessee doesn't have any, maybe 1 possibly. And then you're probably looking at an over. But then if Florida controls the clock and keeps Tennessee off the field, I think we'll see more deliberate style play from Florida to kind of control the clock. And I think they'll be able to do that. I really do. I think Florida will be able to control the clock because, like I say, what I've seen of Tennessee towards the end of last year and starting this year, they're very susceptible on the defensive side I don't think they're going to have enough to go up the upper level SEC teams like Bama and Georgia. But Florida, they're a step below, but I still think they're strong enough in the trenches to kind of make things work their way and keep that below 10 points. So I'm taking Florida plus 10.5.
I like it. We were higher on Billy Napier coming out early in the season. He did a great job. Did take a loss, but did a great job coming out with his Florida team. On the road for him this time, I don't know. He's a very detailed guy. I could imagine there's a bunch of stuff going on with him getting this troop on the road and showing them how he moves on the road. So that's going to mean a lot in this game. And Tennessee, they have a whole lot to prove in this game, in the season. Just a whole lot to prove. I'm scared of this game. I'm totally staying off. This is probably one of the better games on the card for the weekend, but just one that I definitely want to watch. I want to see how Billy Napier adapts, and I want to see if Tennessee is the real deal. But no play for me on this one. I like what you're saying, but I can't even.
I'm going to gamble a little bit on Florida. I just think the pace. To me, it's all about the pace in this one. Controlling the line of scrimmage a little bit better than on the defensive side. Versus, to me, the matchup is Tennessee's defense versus the Florida offense on the game clock. But Tennessee's quick strike, so Florida lets their guard down. They'll blink an eye, and Tennessee will put 6 up on the board.
Mm-hmm.